The former president of the Republic, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, who passed away on Friday at the age of 84, was buried this Sunday afternoon at the El Alia Cemetery, Martyrs Square in Algiers, in the presence of the head of state Abdelmajid Tebboune, the President of the Council of the Nation Salah Boujil, the President of the National People's Assembly Ibrahim Boughali, Prime Minister, Minister of Finance Ayman bin Abdurrahman, Lieutenant General Said Shingriha, as well as senior state officials, members of the government, representatives of the diplomatic corps accredited in Algeria, and members of the deceased family also attended the funeral. In his eulogy, the Minister of Mujahideen or War Veterans, Eid Rabiqa, affirmed that with the passing of former President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, Algeria bids farewell to a war veteran that history will retain for his contribution. In this solemn position, we bid farewell to the former war veteran and President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, who joined the ranks of the blessed liberation revolution in the prime of his youth. With hearts satisfied with God Almighty's will, may Allah have mercy on his pure soul.
The President of the National Council, Salah Boujil, chaired on Sunday a meeting of the Council enlarged to the Presidents of the parliamentary groups in order to set a calendar for holding the Council's sessions for the presentation and debates about the government's action plan. Salah Boujil explained that the debates around the government's action plan will allow to act directly on the daily life of our fellow citizens through the objectives outlined by the President of the Republic. The presentation session of the action plan after the Prime Minister before the members of the Council of the Nation has been set for next Tuesday. It will be followed by debates on the content of the executive's plan. Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Mtala Mamra is participating in New York in the high-level segment of the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly from the 20th to the 28th of September 2021. The session is placed under the theme Building on Hope to Strengthen Resilience to the COVID-19, Rebuild Sustainably, Meet the Needs of the Planet, Respect the Rights of People and Revitalize the United Nations. In the margins of the general debate, Mtala Mamra will take part in a number of high-level conferences and meetings, including a ministerial meeting on the Libya peace process, a joint meeting between the Arab Summit, Troika and the Security Council, a summit on the food system, a high-level dialogue on energy, the 12th Ministerial Conference on the promotion of the entry into force of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, and a commemorative meeting on the 20th anniversary of the adoption of the Durban Declaration and Programme of Action on Racial Discrimination, Xenophobia and Intolerance.
Proclaimed on September 19, 1958, the Provisional Government of the Algerian Republic, GPRA, had been the first founding milestone of independent Algeria and the great instrument of the final victory of combating Algeria against the French colonizer. The idea of transforming the Coordination and the Execution Committee into a government was essential in the debate between the leaders of the National Liberation Front FLN in the second quarter of 1958. The appointment of Farhat Abbas at the head of the GPRA and Ahmed Ben Bella as vice president responded to the demands of the hour and of the national and international political contacts. This movement had means of links and communication with its press, radio, diplomatic services and representations in many capitals and at the UN, as well as logistics and security services. Created in the midst of the National Liberation War, the GPRA had established itself in a very recent time, not only as the voice of Algeria in the struggle, but also as the vector of internalization and mobilization around the Algerian cause. Its creation took place in application of the decisions of the CNRA, National Council of the Algerian Revolution, at its meeting in Cairo from August 20th to the 27th, 1957, during which it was decided to officially proclaim it on September 19, 1958. Like this, it established itself as the legitimate representative of the Algerian people during the negotiation of Evian Accords, sanctioned by the signing of the ceasefire on March 19, 1962, which subsequently led to the independence of Algeria on July 5th of the same year.
The new school year will soon begin. Many Algerian families are making their last purchases of school supplies. Children are here to pick up pencil cases, pens, notebooks and school bags to start a successful school year. I have 4 children. 2 of them are in primary school and 2 others are in middle school. Those of primary school, I am responsible for their choices. But those of college, they want to choose their own things. They like to follow the latest trends. This year, school trends are expensive, which have led some parents to buy supplies during the summer vacation in order to limit expenses as much as possible before the start of the school year.
I started shopping since August. I let my children choose, but I try to respect the budget. I have 2 children and on average it costs me between 20,000 to 25,000 dinars.
Parents are making sure to stay on budget while satisfying the needs of their children despite the high cost of everyday life.
Students all over the national territory are getting ready for the next school year, approaching really fast. In the province of Bashar, parents accompanied by their children in order to purchase school supplies. Several citizens stress the low prices in there and being affordable in comparison to other libraries. Despite the high prices in this bookstore, unlike the market, parents do not hesitate to buy school supplies to ensure the smooth running of the school year for their children. The education sector in the province of Biskra has just been strengthened by 7 new schools, equipped with all the necessary means so as to accommodate new students of the primary cycle.
It should be noted that these new establishments are proximate to the cities and will alleviate the overload of certain schools and will also guarantee quality services for the well-being of students.
Due to the pandemic, a health control unit has been installed to continue the vaccination campaign.
This unit is put at the disposal of pupils in different levels, knowing that we intend to open a new inoculation center to relieve the pressure off other centers.
The school book fair has opened its doors in the city center to ensure the availability of school books intended for all levels. All these important infrastructures aim to improve the living environment of students, knowing that the province has 225,000 students.
175 new confirmed cases of coronavirus were recorded in Algeria, while 157 people were cured. 13 unfortunately passed away in the recent 24 hours, according to a statement by the Health Ministry. Here in Bushawi, the services of the National Gendarmerie and the National Security Services work jointly to make drivers aware of the importance of taking all the preventive and vigilant measures to face road danger. This campaign aims to educate motorcyclists on the importance of complying with the rules of driving. We know that motorcycles have greater mobility on highways and even in town. This is the reason for which we ask drivers to be more vigilant. It is a good action to sensitize more people for a better protection. This is what we need. This awareness campaign was therefore aimed at the riders of motorcycles who, according to statistics, are behind the increase in the number of road accidents. The figures recorded by our services revealed the involvement of a large majority of motorcyclists in accidents, although this category only represents 2.98% of the total vehicle fleet. For better road safety, motorists are therefore recommended to take all road prevention measures.
The units of the Sahrawi People's Liberation Army carried out new targeted attacks against positions of the Moroccan occupation forces in the areas of Mahbas, Farsiya and Smara. SPLA units shelled Moroccan army positions in the area of Ahrisha, Miran, Smara. The SPLA also intensified its attacks against the Moroccan occupation forces in the area of Ros Fedra Shidida, Farsiya, where all the detachments shelled the Moroccan occupation forces in the areas of Shidimiya, Udi Rikba, Ros Sabti, and Akrara Al-Atasa, Mahbas. SPLA attacks continue against the occupation forces, which are suffering heavy human and material losses along the Wall of Shame.
No less than 48 Zionist settlers stormed the esplanades of Al-Aqsa Mosque under the protection of the Zionist police, citing the Islamic Endowment Department in occupied Al-Quds. Zionist settlers desecrated Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Maghreb Gate side, marching to provoke the Palestinians. In Kabul, a vehicle carrying Taliban fighters was targeted in Jalalabad, less than 24 hours after a similar attack in the largest city in eastern Afghanistan. The explosion occurred near a highway that leads to the capital, Kabul. Voting begins in the city of Vladivostok in Russia. The poll is said to be won by the ruling United Russia Party, despite its unpopularity after months of repression that have severely weakened critics of President Vladimir Putin. Moving on to Iceland, the volcanic eruption underway near Reykjavik has passed the 6-month mark. It is now the longest in the Nordic country for over 50 years. The eruption has already attracted 300,000 curious visitors that are still flocking to admire its slow and continuous flow.
Fashion designer Radwan sketches new clothing templates for his upcoming collection for men, where he's taken a step back towards Algerian clothing values to launch his own ready-to-wear line. Algerians need to regain their identity through wearing our original clothing with a modern touch. My collection is called Renaissance, and it includes formal and casual clothing. Between modernity and tradition, the artist aims to make traditional suits accessible to young people as a way of safeguarding one of the symbols of our identity.
As part of the African Champions League, CR Belouizdad played the home game against Aqua United of Nigeria and won with 2-0. As for AS Setif, played the same game and snatched victory by 5-4 against FC Fortune of Gambia after a penalty round.